All right, hello students. I see only 6 people. Okay, 10 people have already joined. Let's just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. So before we start our discussion for today, give me a summarized overall view of what are the things we have discussed in our earlier class, so that I know that you people are watching my videos, you people are understanding what I am saying, and you have a clear idea. Students who are following my videos, whenever I am putting a video, give me a clear idea that you are having all the ideas what I am talking about, having clear in your mind, so that I can also have some idea about what is going on and what are the concepts with you. Only 12 people, that's not good. Okay, who can tell me what was the last thing we were teaching about, we were discussing about? Okay, I'm moving to today's topic. You are talking about blood circulation system in our body, and also function of heart, how blood is totally circulated throughout our body, what is pulmonary circulation, what is systemic circulation, or whole body circulation, the function of blood. Also, we in earlier classes we also talked about the respiratory process, function of alveoli, function of lungs, size of two different lungs, why the size actually occurs, this kind of things. Now, the remaining things that is needed to be discussed, that is lymphatic system. Work of blood has already been discussed, so I'll not discuss that once again. If you have any doubts, you can always put your doubts at first, so that we can discuss and clarify the doubt first, and we can go to the next topic later. Please explain the heart rate and pulse rate which we feel in our wrist. See, pulse rate is different. That is not the rate of heart. Pulse rate is generated by the pulses of veins, not by the pulses of heart. Always remember, veins have their own pulses, but arteries do not have their own pulses. Clear? When blood is flowing through artery, the speed is very, very high, but when blood is flowing through veins, the speed is significantly decreased. That decreased speed cannot provide blood to flow from one place to another, or better to say, flow from an organ to heart back. So what it needs another type of contraction or relaxation that is provided by the veins as well. Veins have their own contraction and relaxation. Through that, blood is going forward, and through that movement blood can go from one organ to the heart back. That is what happening. So the pulse we are getting in our wrist, it is actually the pulse of the veins, not the pulse of the heart. Clear? The pulse of heart, we can measure it through a stethoscope. We have to put the stethoscope here, and we can measure how much beats per minute are going on, and also we can see the pulses from here as well. So that is what it is happening. All right, earlier classes we have discussed about circulation in blood. Okay, sir, in Wikipedia it says the pulse rate is connected to arteries. Maybe arteries do not have their own pulses. Is it clear to you or not? Arteries do not have pulses at all. So we cannot count any kind of pulse through artery. You can put your stethoscope on over an artery and wait for hours. You will not hear anything because arteries do not have pulses. But if you put the stethoscope on veins, you can clearly hear the pulses that is generated by the veins themselves, not the artery, not the heart. Clear? And we can also hear the pulses of the heart by placing the stethoscope on heart. Clear? That is how we use stethoscope. But yes, we can definitely measure blood pressure. Blood pressure can be measured by putting sphygmomanometer, a device you have already seen, I believe, in different hospitals or medical stores, that is wrapped around your hand like this, and a small object is there through which air is passed out, and it actually holds your hand really, really tight. That's how you can measure the blood pressure of your body. Clear? That can be measured, and that is actually measured on a artery, never on a vein, because the blood pressure, we know, blood pressure is the pressure exerted by the heart during the systole and diastolic condition of the ventricle. Clear? So that's how we can actually calculate the blood pressure of our body. Name the type of blood vessel which carry blood from organs to heart. That is veins. Veins do the job. Clear? This has already been discussed for quite some time already. So moving to the proper discussion, the main discussion of today. Is it clear to you, Kaushik Saha? He has made a question. Name the type of blood vessels which carry blood from organs to heart. It is always the function of the veins to carry blood from all the different parts of the body to heart. Clear? All right. So, okay, moving to the next thing, that is lymphatic system. We are going to talk about lymphatic system today. So you don't have very vast amount of data in your book about lymphatic system. Like, let me give you a clear idea about it. Lymphatic system is made up of lymph and lymph nodes and lymph vessels. Clear? Lymph nodes and lymph vessels are the pipelines which are holding the lymph. Now, what is lymph? Lymph is actually created from blood itself. So what is the difference between lymph and blood? Lymph and blood has some major specific differences, like lymph doesn't contain as many blood cells as blood do. Clear? There is very few amount of, very less amount of red blood cell and other kind of blood cells like platelets, like white blood cells. So what is the main function of lymph? If it doesn't have so much amount of red blood cells, then it must have different kind of functions other than blood. So the main function of lymph is immunological function. That means it gives us some kind of immunity. How it can give us some kind of immunity? The white blood cells are present in lymph and lymph node. So what is the main function of white blood cells? White blood cells are the sentinels of our body. That means they are the soldiers of our body. They can protect our body from external infections as well as infections that are occurring inside our body. So the lymph actually have less density than blood, so it can go to minute pores, minute places where where normal blood cannot go. So that's how lymph is also associated with bringing oxygen and food to very, very minute and tiny places, tiny cracks and canals of our body where normal blood cannot go. And that's how they can serve food and oxygen as well. Also, they can carry back metabolical waste products and carbon dioxide back to blood, and that's how blood can get um, from all part of our body, the carbon dioxide generating there and the metabolical waste products generating there. That is one function of blood, sorry, no, one function of lymph. And what are the other functions? Lymph glands and lymphatic system is a very, very vast system. It is spread out throughout our body. Clear to everybody? I hope it is spread out throughout our body. And what are the major parts, what are the major positions where we can see lymph glands? You see our tonsils, we have tonsils here. These are the lymph glands. Also thymus gland. Thymus gland is very, very tiny and almost reduced to nothing in case of adults, but in case of children, we can see a bigger thymus gland that is placed in this region. And after thymus gland, we can also talk about the crotch region of a human body, where you can find lymphatic system and lymph glands. Also underarms, in our underarms we have lymph glands as well. So throughout our body lymph glands are distributed, and throughout our body lymph or the secretion from the lymph glands are spreading, and they are also spreading the oxygen, they are also spreading the food, they are taking up carbon dioxide as well as the metabolic waste product. That's how it is working. Also some kind of immunological function they are doing in our body as well. The biggest lymph gland in our body is the spleen. Keep it in your mind. Sometime this question may come. Name the biggest lymph gland in our body, that is spleen. Okay. So oxygen, you find lymph. Lymph can be found inside lymph gland. So if you are asked what is the color of lymph, how lymph is look like, what is the type of, think of, suppose I am asked that tell me how you see a lymph. So if you are asked a question like that, you can just imagine, suppose you have a cut somewhere, and after some time what happens, the cut doesn't flow any blood anymore because there is a blood coagulation. So after coagulation you will see a very light yellow colored fluid coming out of it. So a lymph actually looks like that. It is not actually lymph what is coming out of the blood clot, but a lymph looks like that. So you get a clear idea about the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system, I don't think there is much more than this what I have already said. Where can we find lymph? Already said, in tissue walls of capillaries, tissue fluids. Answer not. All right. uh, Okay, anything else? Any doubt remaining? If any doubts are remaining, you just put your queries there. I'll try to answer. Otherwise, I'll move to the next topic. Okay, I hope there is no question left on what is temple. What kind of temple? I don't understand. Be more specific with your question. All right, so moving to the next point, circulation in plants. We have already discussed about circulation process in animals. So let's talk about the circulation process in plants. Lymph, what the lymph carries? Lymph carries mainly different kind of proteins. The proteins are called immunoglobulins or antibodies. You have already heard of antibodies, I hope. So antibody are protein substances mainly carried by lymph, also blood, and also lymph has certain kind of white blood cells carried inside the what is it called, the lymph clear. Inside lymph, there are certain kind of white blood cells present as well. Lymphocyte are white blood cells, specific type of white blood cells that are also found in lymph as well as in blood. It is from the name you may say that lymph is also lymphocyte are only present inside lymph. That is not the case. Lymphocyte can be found inside blood as well as in lymph. All right. So transportation in plants. How transportation in plants take place? In class 9, we have talked about, we have new two complex permanent tissues in plants, that is xylem and another is phloem. So in xylem there are four parts, that is trachea, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fiber. We have already talked about this. And in case of phloem, there are four parts as well: simnol, companion cell, and phloem parenchyma, phloem fiber. So these are the four parts in xylem and phloem. So xylem is mainly associated with transportation of water and minerals from soil to different parts of body to the stem. Clear? So how it does? The root present in the inside the soil actually captures water and mineral through osmosis process. There are two kind of osmosis process going on there. One osmosis process is passive osmosis. That means it doesn't require any energy. But another kind of osmosis process is also going on, also taking place simultaneously, that is known as active osmosis. Clear? What is active transport, what is passive transport? Let's talk about this. Active transport is that kind of transport that requires energy to take place, that requires energy to happen. You see, the mineral transport, it is not a passive transport. It cannot be happening in a passive way. Whenever mineral is going inside of the cell from the outside, it requires energy. What is energy in case of biology? In biology, energy is given by ATP. So ATP will be required to bring minerals, different kind of minerals, from the outside to inside of the cell. So active transport has to be placed there. But when we are talking about transportation of water, water doesn't need any energy to come from outside to inside of the cell, so it will be happening in a passive way. So no energy is required, no ATP is required. So through active transport and passive transport, minerals and waters came inside the cells of the root. Now what will happen? All the mineral and the cell, they will travel upward direction, clear, against gravity. So there is specific tissue system present for that purpose. That tissue system is known as xylem. As we know that the parts of xylem, that is trachea, these kind of things, they are hollow in structure, they are dead and they are hollow in structure. So water solute, sorry, the mineral, so and dissolved in water, that can go upward direction through the trachea and trachea. Clear? Tracheids all together form a very long pipe-like structure. Through the whole of the pipe-like structure, the water can go from root to different part of the stem. So some water and mineral go to the leaves, some water and mineral will go to other branches and other leaves. That's how the whole total circulation system works. That is only circulation system of downward to upwards, that means from root to different parts of the stem. Now what happens when the leaves, suppose the leaves are making foods instantly, clear, leaves of the plants are always making foods through the process of photosynthesis. So after photosynthesis is done, after it is night time, there is no photosynthesis, the total amount of glucose, the total amount of food has to move somewhere. It cannot remain inside the leaf forever. So how it can be moved to different places? Through a circulation process. There is another type of complex tissue system present there, that is known as phloem. So phloem has also four parts, that is sieve sieve cell, sieve tube, sieve cell, uh, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fiber. So these are the four parts. So sieve tube and sieve cell, all the parts are living. Sieve tube, sieve cell, phloem parenchyma, three parts are living, only phloem fibers are dead. So phloem can actually flow materials both direction. It can flow materials in upward direction as well, it can flow materials in downward direction as well. So the living cells of phloem, that is phloem, what is it called, phloem fiber, the phloem parenchyma, the sieve tube and sieve cell, companion cell, get all the nutrients from leaves through active transportation. Clear? It cannot happen through passive transportation, it always requires energy. So through active transportation, through using of ATP, all the materials, all the glucose are coming inside phloem. So after these things are coming inside phloem, what will happen? Phloem will disperse all the materials throughout each and every cell of the plant. That is the main motto. Clear? So phloem, as it dispersing all the food material, all the minerals, all the good materials that are formed inside the leaf throughout each and every cell of the plant, plant will get nutrition and it will be growing. That is how the transportation system in plants work. Now another thing is there. Now another thing is there, the what we are talking about. Yes, the flow of water is a continuous process throughout the plant. Clear? So plants, we know the uh, down section or the bottom section of leaves have small pores present. What are they known as? They are known as stomata. So in stomata, what happens? The what is it called? The water vapor actually always comes outside of the leaf through stomata. So stomata is continuously being opened throughout the day, and all the water vapor, that is excess water vapor, creating inside the leaf coming out of the stomata, and that's why there is always a need of water, and the flow of water from root to the different parts of the body or the stem is a continuous process. It is continuously losing the water vapor, and it is continuously bringing up the water from the root to different parts of the body. So till now we have talked about lot many things. So what are the doubts of yours? We can see now. Mm, where is temple present in our body? I don't understand what is temple. And companion cell. Companion cell can be found in sieve tube, that is phloem. In phloem there are four parts: sieve tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fiber. The sieve tubes are actually fragile structures. They need some mechanical supports that is given by the companion cells in phloem. That is what happening. So any other doubt? If you have any other doubt, put your queries there. We don't have much time. I'll be concluding my session. I'll not prolong it anymore. So very simple things discussed today. One is lymphatic system, another is transportation in plants. In the next session, we will be talking about some other system like maybe digestive system, maybe excretory system. See, you are talking about temple, but I don't clearly know what is a temple or what you are trying to say. I have to see it for myself. That what is temple inside our body. I haven't heard of it before. So I cannot answer it right now. I have to see it for myself. If you have better knowledge, you can let me know about it in a better way so that I can explain. Okay, anything else? And tell me if the session, whatever I have discussed today, is it clear to you or not? If there is any doubt remaining, then you can always put the doubt here. First, ensure that there is nothing, no confusion left from today's session. After that, we can go for other days session as well. Okay, what is yes sir means? Is it means everything I have told you have understood fully, or is it something else? Alright students, I won't be prolonging this session anymore. So you have any doubts, put it there. Otherwise, I'll be closing the live session. I see no doubts coming. So I hope that's all for today. And we'll be having shorter sessions from next time. So thank you everybody again. I hope to see you in my next class. Be safe and keep everyone safe. Thank you.